I think that's a great way to say it. But welcome everyone to Cisco Virtual Kitchen. What a great intro. The music kind of cut out and everything. But we are super stoked, everyone, to have this amazing show coming up. It's something different. We're calling it Saddledome a la carte podcast. Guess who I have in the virtual kitchen here is not the one and only. I'm going to say it like that, Chef. She's like freaking out. Chef Brandi, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Saddledome a la carte podcast. You like that? Welcome.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, this is great. I'm going to read the intro that I have here. So, you know what? We're going to take you behind the scenes of one of the most high-pressured environments in the culinary world. I think it's one of the most high-pressured. It's got to be. And you take care of this, which is so exciting that we have Chef Brandi on the show today and be able to share with you really challenges and different things that she takes care of in this amazing kitchen. I've been in there. She's given me a tour. It is insane what you deal with and all the things that you do and the amazing things you create out of this fast-paced environment. You feed thousands of people every week. Tens of thousands. Tens and tens of thousands every week. So we want to learn a little bit about that. Some unique moments and items, maybe. I talked a little bit about that before the planning meeting. And just also the amazing things that you guys do in your kitchen at the Saddledome, and maybe some stories and stuff like that. Does that sound cool? Does that sound cool?
That sounds great. I'm excited.
Does that sound great?
Yeah.
So before we get started, Chef Brandi, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started here. Because I think first of all, you're incredible. You've been working with us for quite a while, but I just want to hear your story on how you became the executive chef of the Saddledome. This is incredible to have you on the show. First of all, thank you.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's quite a long story, so I won't go all the way to the beginning. But basically, I started working at the Saddledome about 10 years ago as a junior sous chef and gradually worked my way up. I was the sweet sous chef for about 5 years and then became the executive sous chef, and now I'm here. So it's been a great 10 years. And looking for
it took
more.
you 10 years
to be at the Saddledome. Yes, yeah.
Oh, to be the top executive.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's amazing. First of all, and I'm sure as I've got tons of questions here, and for anyone that's going to join us or watch this show later on demand on Saskatchewan's YouTube channels, Spotify, LinkedIn, we're going to play this over and over again. And Chef Brandi's going to be like, not again. But we're going to play it a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun here. But let's get into these questions I have for you, Chef. First of all, thank you for sharing the journey that you've had, because I think you're going to we want to inspire other people in the industry to do similar things like Chef Brandi has done here to be the executive chef of the Saddledome. But let's get into some of these questions, Chef. Tell us about a particular time that you've had a challenge in creating a menu or an event, like a menu for an event that you've hosted there at the arena. What's one of those challenging events you've had to do before?
So what comes to mind is probably the Grey Cup. We did it about 4 years ago now. So it took about a year of planning. It's the first one that we've really done with anyone that's worked here. So it was all kind of new for us. There was a lot of different elements that went into it, different pre-parties and during the game parties and extra suites that were created. So it was quite an undertaking that did take us about a year to plan.
So you say pre-planning. Can you kind of give us some examples what that looks like? Like, is that tasting food, trying food, meeting with different, that's going to be pretty intense.
So it really even started with the Grey Cup before. We had a team that went to Edmonton to experience that Grey Cup, to kind of learn from the things that they were doing. But as for the menu planning, it was a lot of testing, different chefs putting different input into what we were actually going to sell. And then the execution part is the most important because it's not actually at the Saddledome, it was at McMahon Stadium. So taking everything there, how we were going to execute it, building different kitchens that we had to do there. So like I said, just a lot of different aspects that went into it.
Well, that kind of leads me to the next question I have for you, right? Because you you're a chef in one of the most fast-paced places I think chef can be. How do you how do you handle all that pressure and that fast-pacedness, if that's a word, in the environment in your
We'll go with
kitchen? How
that.
do you handle that?
So really, it's having an amazing team. I can't say enough about the chefs that I have and our front of house team as well. And it really is a whole building wide situation where we get different information from everyone. And it's to be quite honest, it's a lot of educated guesses as to
Okay.
volumes and everything like that. But it's really just trying to plan as much as possible, whatever you can. I'm a massive planner. I get anxious when there isn't a plan. So for me, it's trying to really get into the nitty gritty and trying to come up with contingency plans and everything else at the same time.
So, what's the day in the life look like for Chef Brandi? What's this look like for you?
So depending on the day, the event, but today's a Flames game, so we'll go with that. Usually
Okay,
I'm here
okay.
around 9 a.m., just checking in
Right.
on the team, checking our function sheets, making sure we have all our product and the levels are correct, and everything like that, and really just touching base with all the teams throughout the day. There's a lot of meetings when it comes to with our catering team and our restaurant managers and our sous chefs. So we have
Yeah.
a sous chef that runs each kitchen. So it's really
How
making
many
sure that
kitchens? How
they're
many,
set up.
how many kitchens?
Oh, you're throwing me on the spot. We have about, including concessions as a whole, we'll count concessions as a whole kitchen.
Right.
We have about 5 kitchens.
5 kitchens.
Yeah, with one of them being
Wow.
concessions that does, most
Yeah, only
of
thousands, tens
everything.
of thousands
Yeah,
of people.
exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then really it's just working towards firing for the day. And again, I like to be in the trenches, so I'm there with them when they're firing and checking quality everywhere. And then
can I
service
just throw a
start.
shout out on that? Can I just throw a shout out on that, chef? Because I find the most successful chefs are the chefs. This is from Bourdain to you name it. Eric, he was just in Bahamas the other day. The chefs that are in the trenches are the best chefs, in my mind. So I don't say that. Just not to make it all fluffy, but you're right on that comment. Right?
But to me, I would much rather be on the line than in an office. So I always tell all the chefs, please let me know if you need a hand because I would love to be in there with them. So
Yeah, you learn so much more by doing that. Is that so? If you look at we're inspiring others and inspiring other chefs to maybe come and work with you at the Saddledome or to just join our industry, would that be something you may want to share with them? Is that a tip or something you want to look at? Is you got to always be on the line. You always got to be involved.
absolutely. You really only learn, like you said, when you're in it and when you're actually seeing what's going on. That's like you talked about the planning and how we deal with this with the high volume and everything. It's really being in there and seeing the things that we can change and update or and getting different ideas from other people. If you're not actually in the kitchens, it's very difficult to be able to see where the issues are or and not even issues, but just how to essentially make it better.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna. I hope there might be a chef out there I'm going to offend, but those office chefs don't do very well,
No
right?
comment.
No comment, right? They know who we're talking about. No, everyone's got a place, and so everyone find different strengths. And you know what I said in
Absolutely.
the office many times, but um, it is preferred. Maybe that's the way we look at it. Preferred to be online and in the trenches. Nothing is better after that rush, right? Maybe we should
Absolutely.
talk a
Yeah.
little bit. What's it feel like, chef, from your perspective? Because it's all about you today. It's not about me. How does that feel?
To me, I don't know. I love that rush. I it's kind of a bit of a joke recently of try to say that I'm a bit of a masochist in the fact that I love the rush. I love it when it's stressful, and I think it really is because of that feeling that you get when it's done and that
Oh,
camaraderie from your team. When you can say you've been through a busy service, good or bad, just being busy, that, you can say we did this together as a team. And to me, that's one of the best feelings.
Isn't it? It's one of the best feelings ever, is when you walk away and it's like, what was
Exactly.
it? And you all kind of group together, grab a coffee.
You have high fives and good job. Like,
what was that, right? And you crushed it. Oh, I might just have to come down and visit you on one of these nights just to experience that again. Right?
Absolutely. I'd love to take you through the kitchens during and maybe put you on the line for a bit and put you through it.
Yeah, put me through the ringer again. So I do want to show this because we have some videos of your kitchen. So we're going to bring these up here right now. And we're going to make sure that they don't just start right away here. We're going to bring these up. I want you to kind of tell us what these are, because maybe some people are like, well, what's the kitchen look like? And honestly, when I went there, it is not what you typically see in restaurant kitchens. It is big. How big's your kitchen? It's huge. Your main one.
The main one, yeah, it's quite large. Definitely, when people walk in there, they're often surprised at how big it is.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So what's this one right now that we got a video here of?
This is the Saddledome restaurant. It's our fine dining restaurant on the terrace level. So this is kind of a little behind the scenes at the beginning of service.
Okay, wait a minute.
The builders starting to come in.
You have a restaurant. Is there more people in the back there on that line, or is there just two people take care of that huge restaurant?
So generally, there's two people that are usually back there as well that are just off to the side. So generally, we have about 4 or 5 people on the back side of that kitchen.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah. And so this one, we do a 3-course tasting menu for about 150 seats, every Flames game, and then some other concerts and Roughnecks are also open. So, yeah, it's really just honing in and figuring out what works with being the best quality at the same time.
So, all out of you're crazy. It's crazy. This is crazy, right? Right? Crazy
I think you're
cool.
speechless.
So, I know, like you made me speechless, Brandi. So when we see this, so is that the people the runners and stuff on the other side?
So yeah, on the front side is one of our sous chefs and our executive sous chef who are expoing the front side.
Okay. So do you have expo, like people that do the expediting and stuff like that?
We have our chefs do it. We kind of feel that's, where you see it's the last touch of the plate. So we try to make sure that there's a chef on the front side before the plate goes out to the guests.
Is that like kind of like they're awarded that, or do they go into that role? Because we always felt that was kind of like the next step in if you got to be the expediter.
Yeah, so because so it is the sous chef of the restaurant. So it's their restaurant running it essentially. That it's their menus and everything else. So they kind of are at the top of that of their each outlet when they're doing the expo. Cool.
Do you have callers too? Online caller?
Depending on the line, but we usually have another first cook, CDP, somewhere, a supervisor that's doing the calling.
You get me? I am going to come down and hang out with you one of these nights.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm bringing back a lot of memories.
You're hired.
Exactly. Here we go. I can name stuff. This is really cool. So here, let's bring in another picture here. First of all, thank you for all these videos because this is just so cool. So what's happening here? What's this real quick video?
So this, sorry, it's a little choppy, but
no, that's okay.
So this is
what's all this plates? Sorry.
This is the Dutton's Original 16 Lounge. It's our pub restaurant, and basically, this restaurant does about 300 covers in an hour and a half before a Flames game.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's like a full restaurant.
Absolutely, yeah.
In an hour and a half.
Yes, yeah.
How many menu items?
Probably about 20 altogether.
You guys are crazy. That's crazy.
And if, I just want to reiterate, this is very important, that almost everything is made in house. So we do try to really make sure that we're doing everything in house that we can and physically can make. So
That's a job right there. And we make everything in house.
yeah.
Wow. No pre-done stuff there. All right. I love that. I love that. Okay, so what's this? What video we got going here?
So this is our... No, there's singing going on. So this is our part of our main kitchen. This is a very quick video of our cold kitchen preparing for our executive suites, our private boxes. And those are Asian prawn salad rolls.
We'll talk about how many you're making those. So what do you mean by cold kitchen? Is it cold, like freezing, or what do you mean by that, Chef?
No, I mean it's our garde manger station. So basically, where all of the cold dishes get sent out from.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the video. So everyone, you got behind the scenes at the Saddledome there, which I don't know if anyone's ever seen that other than a few people. But I have a few other questions here. So with all those, you got 5 kitchens, you got restaurants all over, you got suites, you got concessions. How do you keep your inventory and supplies in check? How do you do all that? Do you check all the time? It's got to be crazy.
So we do have to do inventory once a month. So we do have that. But really, it's up to the sous chefs to be controlling what they order, what they have on hand, their wastage, and everything else. And I really just help them with anything they need in that respect. But like I said, it's a lot of knowing what they have on hand all the time and what they need to order for their services.
Right. So, because the worst thing to do is, I always say that chefs don't order food to look at it.
Exactly.
You order to use it, right?
Exactly. And I mean, because we have so many different kitchens. If for some reason one kitchen can't use something, we can use it in different ways to be creative with it. So to me, that's one thing I do challenge myself with, even, is how do we use products in different ways so that it's not going in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to say, because we talked these few months that we've been talking about is inflation and how restaurants can tackle food inflation, because it's hitting everyone everywhere in our industry. So when you talk about waste, I want to talk a little bit about waste. What's some advice that you would give others out there that may be watching this, that's a chef or a restaurateur, about waste? Because you guys got to be tight on waste, the amount of volume you go through.
So I think probably from a personal standpoint, what we try to do is to not have products completely finished until they're ready to go out. So that way you can use the elements in different ways. Once you have a complete dish, it's a little bit harder to be able to use in other places, especially when you're thinking of more buffets, because we do have buffet restaurant and then also catering that we do that are also buffet styles. Mm-hmm. So in those scenarios, we batch fire, as we call it. So we're really only cooking as much as we need. And that way, if a chicken breast is just seared but not fully cooked, we can save it for another time a lot easier than we can if it's a fully completed dish.
So you probably write a pretty tight ship on those buffet styles then, because those.
I try to, yeah.
Right, yeah. I know. Those are tough. So let's talk a little bit about the unique or creative. You addressed a little bit on the creativity sometimes in your other kitchens and your kitchens. What is about that creative? What is one of the most creative things that you've been requested to maybe do in one of your kitchens for one of your guests or one of your maybe celebrities? We won't name names.
Oh, that's a couple of different questions, but
did you get all those in one?
I think so. Well, I'll speak to one part about the menu creation and creativity. So just to bring up the Saddle Room restaurant situation that we have right now, is this year we've created a 3-course tasting menu, and it changes every week. So we're constantly creating new things there and trying things out in different ways. And to me as a chef, I think that's one of the most creative ways that we can, or ways that we can use our creativity on a daily basis. Now, as for the weird thing for a celebrity, I cannot name any names, but
No,
probably, some of our concerts, our artists that have come have asked for some interesting things sometimes. So, for instance, I was telling you about chocolate covered goji berries was one thing that we had to do because we can't order those, so we had to chocolate dip them ourselves. And then also one other celebrity came and their partner has a cookbook. So we were tasked to create and make items from that cookbook. So it was a little stressful there just to make sure we were actually honoring their partner's recipes without trying to change them to our own or anything like that. So
yeah, I can only imagine, eh? So I can only imagine the stress behind that. Eh? You want to make sure it's cooked right. The other thing I want to talk about this, and I'm going to bring this back around this menu part because I find it so curious. A lot of people think, where do you find the time to look at new menu items or new menu ingredients and try stuff? Is it like on the shows we see on TV where the chef comes off the ship and goes to the little market, grabs the fruit and tastes it and goes, "Yeah, let's put a case of this on the menu tonight." What's it like for you, chef, when you look at new menu? Is it like that? Is it like what we see on TV?
No, I mean, I wish it was, to be honest. I would love to have the time and to be honest, the markets in Calgary to be able to do that. There are some great markets, but no fish markets really or anything like that. So really it comes from a lot of different things to me, that it's bouncing ideas off of other people. It's getting, like, we get a lot of new stuff from our reps. Like, I'm always asking for new stuff from the suppliers to just, even if we never use it, it might spark something. It might inspire something. You know, but a big thing comes from, we try to collaborate as much as we can as a group of chefs in this building, that, because you might not think of something in one way, or just speaking it out loud, you'll see a different thing, or actually making a dish, you'll get inspired by something else, just to do something else.
You create that culture, right? Like, you've created that culture where innovation's so important. You have to be.
Absolutely. In this industry, there's no way you can just stand still. So, and then because
testing menu all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got different outlets too that we can use for those outlets as well. You know, we've got a test kitchen on the concourse that changes every month as well. So we're always trying different stand concepts there to keep our creativity going as well. So it's exciting.
What inspires you, chef? Where do you get your inspiration from as a chef? Where do you get it
from? To be very really other chefs. Other chefs inspire me. You know, we always say that, you know, you end up copying other recipes or things like that. But to me, I can look at a picture of something and get inspired to make something completely different. But it's just the colors that are on the plate or a texture that you see or anything like that.
How many cookbooks do you own?
A lot. I haven't counted in a long time.
I was gonna say, that's what used to inspire me, and it still does today, is just looking at the pictures. Right.
But to be honest, like nowadays with Instagram and even Pinterest, you know, is just a picture. Like, I don't even open the tabs or anything. It's just a picture can really speak volumes to me. So there
you go. There you go, everyone. You don't need to send chef recipes. You just send her pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that's all the most recipe books should be. It's just a picture book. With what it is, right? Because I think that's where it's so funny, because a lot of chefs will say, well, let's write a recipe. It's like, no, they just need a picture. That's all they need. They don't need a recipe, because they're going to make it the way they want to make it, and they're going to tweak it. They want to tweak it. I don't know how many chefs even read recipes. They just like, I got it. I'm going to do this. They'll look at it and I got it. Don't worry, I got it.
You might see the ingredients that are in it, but it doesn't mean you're following any of the measurements or anything like that.
No, you're not looking at it. Yeah, that's another thing on chefs for cookbooks. Don't put any of the measurements. They already know. So as we move in here, and a few more questions here, Chef, for you. So you're very inspiring. First of all, thanks again for being on the show today. I honestly am just blown away um, for the inspiration. I think you're going to bring a lot of people of joining our industry. What's some of the tips and advice you may have for other aspiring chefs that want to get into this craziness of this amazing industry that we love so much?
Well, there's a couple things, and I wish that I knew, when I started as well. But I was also very lucky to end up having some really good mentors and supportive chefs. Is that, don't give up and try to find somebody that can help support you. There's a lot of old chefs out there that are, more ego driven and that they're all about their name on the menu. But, what helped me grow is that I had a lot of chefs that were there to help get me to have their job eventually. So I think that's a really key thing to have and to look for as an employer. And to really, you've got to have drive and ambition, and it's a tough job to be in sometimes, but it's rewarding if that's really what your passion is.
Yeah, but look at that badge that you're wearing on your on your jacket there. That is huge to have that. I think a lot of chefs would love to have that badge and to be a part of the organization that you're a part of. It's just blown away. Like, it's amazing. So that's great advice. I think a lot of people are going to look at this, and I hope people take away from this. You're a very inspiring chef, and thank you so much. This has just been outstanding. Last question. Can you give us one tip? Well, not tip, but like a secret that you're working on right now, a menu dish item no one knows about, but you know it's going to be it's going to come. You have some.
I can't really tell you that.
You have to tell us what it is, but what are you working on? Give us one little thing.
I don't even know where to begin with that one, actually, because we're all beginning our
little menu item for the Sky Suite, or maybe for one of the restaurants. A little tip, a little secret.
Well, potentially working on some fried chicken situations. And
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spicy.
Probably. Yeah. I can't say much because it's all very. Nothing's been approved yet, but
the cool part that a lot of people don't know either, that chefs have a ton of secrets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they get a ton of secrets, right? And you can never break them. So thanks again. So first of all, thank you so much, Chef. And I hope other people. Chef Brandi is going to be back next week as well with one of her sous chefs, I believe, right? And we're going to see this. This is going to be great too. The three of us. I'll wait till the questions come through on that one. I'm super excited about that. But thanks again, Chef. And it's been a complete honor having you on our show today and kicking off our Saddledome a la carte podcast. And for everyone else, you can listen on today's show on Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just Google Chef Brandi on podcast, and we'll come up on Google. So it's been outstanding, Chef. Any last words of advice? Any last great words, Chef Brandi?
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot there.
I know, hey?
I don't know. I can't. You really did put me on the spot there.
Right? Look at that badge. I love that badge. I wish I had the Calgary Flames on my Chef Brandi. That's a pretty.
We can get you an honorary pin.
Can I get one? I want one. Anyways.
Yeah, when you come work in the kitchen, I'll get you one.
Oh, look at this. We have someone that wrote in and says, I have a huge respect for Chef Brandi for the incredible work she puts in and the support she provides to her team and guests. Great to hear about her day in her life. There you go, Chef.
That's awesome.
Right across the screen. Look at that. Boom.
Aw.
Isn't that awesome? You got fans. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Isn't that awesome? So anyways, thanks to everyone else joining our today's show. And Chef Brandi, outstanding. It's been an absolute pleasure. And to everyone else, we're back again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Mountain Central Time. And then back on Friday. And then Chef Brandi's next week. Again, back on the show. And thanks again. And to everyone else, have a great rest of your day. And we'll sign off. See you, Chef.
Thanks.